All right, Middle-Aged White Guy Reacts is back again today, and I have another Tom MacDonald for you. This one is Hangman. Last night we did number 7 and Wheels Keep Turning. Fantastic songs. Wheels Keep Turning was absolutely jaw-dropping. If you haven't seen that or heard that, you gotta do it with the video. Jaw-dropping. But this is Hangman. Now this is the last of the Dear Rappers content. Not the last that I've covered. This isn't the final one. This is just this song came right before Dear Rappers. So this is like the last of old Tom. Okay. From what I understand, this is a really, really good song. So I'm excited. Let's see what it's all about. Tom MacDonald-Hangman. Let's go. Let's get right into it.
This a warning for the ones who say they aren't afraid. Lately I've been coming from a darker place. I've been dealing with depression.
Okay. The cadence and everything right off the bat sounds very familiar. This is a very familiar sounding Tom. This beat, the cadence, I've heard this Tom before. Let's go.
This a warning for the ones who say they aren't afraid. Lately I've been coming from a darker place. I've been dealing with depression. I'm more dangerous than ever. I've been drinking again and never felt better. I swear to God that...
Oh, Tommy boy. Tom. Saying lately he's coming from a darker place. He's been drinking again and never felt better. All right, so drinking again, never felt better.
With depression, I'm more dangerous than ever.
More dangerous than ever because he's been drinking again and never felt better. Ugh. Okay. Okay, so this is a struggling Tom still, for
I've
sure.
been coming from a darker place. I've been dealing with depression. I'm more dangerous than ever. I've been drinking again and never felt better. I swear to God that I'ma burn a bridge and piss on the flames. Mix the ash with some whiskey and spit it all in their face.
He's gonna burn a bridge and piss on the flames. So, you know, burning the bridges, okay? Don't go burning bridges. So it's that double. He's gonna mix the ash with some whiskey and spit it in your face after he pisses on the flames. So, I mean, like, you know, he's not building bridges to make personal relationship, you know, easier to access. He's burning those bridges down. Ugh. It's gonna be heavy, isn't it? It's gonna be heavy.
God that I'ma burn a bridge and piss on the flames. Mix the ash with some whiskey and spit it all in their face. My new girl probably flip if you got something to say. She reminds me of myself when I would drink every day. I used to be like how I...
Is that Nova he's talking about? That seems like it'd be right around the right... He has to be talking about Nova here, because this was only a few years ago, I think. That's his new girl. Reminds him when he used to drink every day. Like, she's just like a badass and she'll throw down. Okay.
She reminds me of myself when I would drink every day. I used to feel like how I felt was just a temporary phase, but now I feel like the feelings are fucking feeding our fame. And
oh, yeah, this is a struggling Tom. This is a struggling Tom. Hold on, let me hear that one more time.
Like how I felt was just a temporary phase, but now I feel like the feelings are fucking feeding our fame.
He feels like how he felt was just a temporary phase. Like he thought like his depression or whatever was temporary. But then those feelings are feeding off fame. So the bigger he gets, the more energized, the more fuel his demons are getting, you know, and it's not temporary. This is something he's going to have to actually deal with. You know, there's not a quick fix. Money isn't going to fix it. Fame isn't going to fix it. Having hit songs isn't going to fix it. Like, ugh. This cadence, though, this song reminds me of, like, I'm Sorry, This House. Not gonna quite say No Response, but definitely it's up there with those two. The way his flow is going and everything. That's the first thought when he started rapping in this.
Feel like how I felt was just a temporary phase, but now I feel like the feelings are fucking feeding our fame, and I don't plan to slow down and give it a second to breathe. I push the pedal past the breaking point. I'm picking up speed in 2016.
Oh, Tom, man. Give me chills, buddy.
Phase, but now I feel like the feelings are fucking feeding our fame, and I don't plan to slow slow down to give it a second to breathe. I push the pedal past the breaking point, I'm picking up speed.
He doesn't plan on giving it a second to breathe. He pushes the pedal to the breaking point. He's picking up speed. All right, so he's pedal to the floor, man. We're going full speed ahead. What song did he kind of make that reference in? I can't remember. He made a similar reference in another song, though. Oh, was it Travelers, maybe? I can't remember off the top of my head. I've done too many of these now.
And I slow down to give it a second to breathe. I push the pedal past the breaking point, I'm picking up speed. In 2016, swear I came apart at the seams. I was scared of the dark and therefore afraid of my dreams, but
oh man, there's almost 30 seconds in. He's talking, man.
a second to breathe. I push the pedal past the breaking point, I'm picking up speed. In 2016, swear I came apart at the seams. I was scared of the dark and therefore afraid of my dreams, but
In 2016, he was coming apart at the seams. He was scared of the dark, and so was.
Swear I came apart at the seams. I was scared of the dark and therefore afraid of my dreams.
He was scared of the dark, therefore he was afraid of his dreams. So he's saying in 2016 he was falling apart. All right. How did he put this?
16, swear I came apart at the
He was falling apart.
seams. I was scared of the dark and
He was scared of the dark. He was scared of his demons and the dark parts of himself. All right.
therefore afraid of my dreams.
Therefore he's afraid of his dreams. So, you know, he's not right in his head. He has these demons in this darkness. He's already said that it's feeding off fame. So he's now afraid of his dreams. He's afraid to go after his dreams because the closer he gets to those, the more this darkness is right there with him. Like, ugh, this is like his struggle with addiction. This is his struggle with addiction right here. This is, ugh.
16, swear I came apart at the seams. I was scared of the dark and therefore afraid of my dreams. But I rebuilt what came apart with iron, alloy, and beams. Come fly a plane into my legs and I won't fall to my knees. Haven't taken any
I love that. That's, oh my God. Okay.
iron, alloy, and beams. Come the dark and therefore afraid of my dreams. But I rebuilt what came apart with iron, alloy, and beams.
He rebuilt what came apart with iron, alloy, and beams. Okay, and then he says something about you could fly a plane into his legs. He won't fall to his knees.
Fly a plane into my legs and I won't fall to my knees. Haven't
All right, so that reminds me of Exposure. Okay, still to this day one of my favorite bars from Tom is all they try to do is try to cut me with scissors, but what's a blade to a building made out of iron and pillars? All right, so he's saying he has already started the process of rebuilding himself into a building made of iron and pillars and concrete, just a solid structure. You know, he's like, you know, it's so solid. You could, first of all, you can't even cut it with scissors, obviously, and you can even fly a plane into it. And I wonder if that's like a double kind of, you know, referencing obviously 9/11 there. Ugh.
apart with iron, alloy, and beams. Come fly a plane into my legs and I won't fall to my knees. Haven't taken any pills to calm me down for a month. I'm on the edge and I'm waiting for any reason to jump.
So he's off his meds, man. He's off his meds. He's not taking his psych meds. He's just waiting. Give him a reason. Give this man a reason. He'll jump down your throat, tear you apart.
Taking any pills to calm me down for a month. I'm on the edge and I'm waiting for any reason to jump. Don't take it lightly. I'm excited when they throw in the punch. I got a list of different strategies to bury these bumps.
He's excited when they're throwing a punch. He has a list of different strategies to bury you bums. He's like, yeah, I got tactics. I got moves, man. You know, I'm ready. I'm ready to throw down. I got all sorts of different ways that I will rip you limb from limb. Like this is a hard song here, man. I like this.
Lightly, I'm excited when they throw in the punch. I got a list of different strategies to bury these bumps. Very rarely do I carry out a weight of a grudge, but I've been barely ordinary since the prairies and drugs. My imaginary friends in camouflage with some guns, and I've been fairly military, but my army is one. They've been passing.
Tom, I'm only a minute in. I'm never getting through this, my friend. Okay, so he's talking to wow, hold on. Let me hear it again.
Grudge, but I've been barely ordinary. Bury these bumps. Very rarely do I carry out a weight of a grudge, but
Very rarely does he carry all the weight of a grudge. All right. So he's like, I don't carry this shit with me. All right. So if it's not worth it, I'm not doing it. Very rarely will I hold a grudge against anyone and carry that with me.
I've been barely ordinary since the prairies and drugs.
Been barely ordinary since the prairie and drugs. All right. He made mention of moving to the prairies or something like that. I don't know if he's referencing maybe California or just maybe moving out of, because he said in number 7 that he moved out of Alberta. So I don't know exactly, but since he's moved out of that area, he's been barely ordinary. Okay, so he's just barely holding on psychologically at this point.
Do I carry out a weight of a grudge? But I've been barely ordinary since the prairies and drugs. My imaginary friends in camouflage with some guns, and I've been fairly military, but my army is one.
His imaginary friends wearing camo with guns. He's been fairly military, but his army is one. Ugh. Like, he is the army. He is his army. He will defend his land himself. His army is one. He has a bunch of, imaginary friends that have the camo and guns, though, so he'll fight you like he has a whole platoon with them.
Friends in camouflage with some guns, and I've been fairly military, but my army is one. They've been passive aggressive with how they deal with my message. They lack the passion and reckless nature of truthful expression.
Oh my God, Tom.
Aggressive with how they deal with my message.
They've been passive aggressive with how they deal with my message. Basically saying, they're being passive aggressive, like, oh, look at that, oh, bless your heart kind of deal, not taking them seriously. They're not coming out and straight up being aggressive, being passive aggressive about his message.
Fairly military, but my army is one. They've been passive aggressive with how they deal with my message. They lack the passion and reckless nature of truthful expression.
They lack the passion and reckless nature of truthful expression. They don't have the they don't have the passion to want to put themselves out there truthfully, honestly, because it'd be reckless. Not that it would be reckless, but sometimes throwing it out there recklessly is what's necessary. And if you don't have the passion for it, you're not going to do that.
Passive aggressive with how they deal with my message. They lack the passion and reckless nature of truthful expression. They ain't made of what I'm made from. They've been bruised up and dented.
Oof, they ain't made from what I'm made of. They've been bruised up and dented. So, I mean, this is like, he's kind of talking about, he's from a darker place. He's drinking again, this and that. And now he's saying, like, he's a hardened individual, though. From whatever he's gone through, he's a hardened individual. He's an army of one. All right. This is interesting. Interesting. I want to see where this goes.
Reckless nature of truthful expression. They ain't made of what I'm made from. They've been bruised up and dented. They don't understand the underhanded, ruthless obsession that I was born with.
They don't understand the underhanded, ruthless obsession.
They've been bruised up and dented. They don't understand the underhanded, ruthless obsession that I was born with.
Underhanded, ruthless obsession that I was born with. All right, so he's talking, his style, like, you got to be born with this. You got to be born with the ability to be underhanded and ruthless, with your messages when it is called for, And it goes back to, they don't have the passion of ruthless, truthful expression or whatever. Like, this is deep. This is hard. This flow is sick. This song is sick.
They've been bruised up and dented. They don't understand the underhanded, ruthless obsession that I was born with. Slam like the door sticks. Closet full of skeletons so heavy couldn't move them with a forklift. Your bitch probably fell in love. So many skeletons in his closet, you have to move it with a forklift.
Everyone has skeletons in their closet. Some people have more than others. He has so many, you need an entire forklift to move them.
Man. So heavy,
that's crazy.
Them with a forklift. Your bitch probably fell in love because you forced it. Now she bought my records while you deep inside a porn binge. I woke up with a buzzing in my head.
Your lady's bored because you forced it. You're forcing this relationship on her, and she's bored of it, man. She don't even want to be in it. She's just listening to Tom records. kind of drifting off while you, you know.
She bump my records while you deep inside a porn
Oh,
binge.
man.
I woke up with a buzzing in my head. I don't want to leave the comfort of my bed. A dozen missed calls from a dozen of my friends, and my day just started, but it's coming to an end. Already getting dark. Wake up with the stars.
He's waking up with a dozen missed calls from a dozen missed friends. His day's just starting, but it's already end. He's waking up with the stars. So he has probably partied all last night, passed out, slept the entire day away. All right, he is waking up in the evening now to start this over again. He's been getting blown up all day. People looking for him, wanting to hang out, whatever. You know, his day's just started. It's already ended. And that could be a double, like, my day just started and it's already ended because he's waking up at night. But also, his day's just started, but he just said he's depressed. He just wants to stay in bed or whatever. So, I mean, like, it could literally be over already. He's just like, oh my God, I'm up again. I don't even want to be up. I'm just going to stay in bed today. So, I mean, this is deep, man.
Just started, but it's coming to an end. Already getting dark. Wake up with the stars. I don't even know how I got home after I left the bar. Yeah.
See? Yep. Exactly. Didn't know how he got home after he left the bar. So he got trashed last night, slept the day away.
Wake up with the stars. I don't even know how I got home after I left the bar. Yeah. I did 8 months sober and I hate that it's over, but the weight on my shoulders started breaking my heart. I started.
Tom, yeah, this is like a relapse song. He did 8 months sober and he hates that it's over. But the weight on his shoulders was breaking his heart.
And I hate that it's over, but the weight on my shoulders started breaking my heart.
Couldn't take it. Did 8 months. Ugh. I mean, he's better now, but still, you're never out of the woods, man. 8 months is a long time. To go 8 months and then relapse, man, that has to be just a kick to the gut, man. You know, it's like, I made it this far. I've done this good for this long. Why did I let myself go back down this road? I'm like, it would be so hard to try again, to start from square one again, man.
I started out with 1 or 2, and then I moved to 3 or 4, and then I realized that I was back where I had been before.
Yup. And that's what I said. You know, I don't know if I've said it or I said it in the comments or something, but like, cigarettes, if you quit, you might take a hit with a friend off of a friend's cigarette one day. You'll bum one off of them a couple of days later. You'll have 2 or 3 a few days after that. You'll be at a full pack by the end of the week, you know, and you're right back to smoking every day. Like, that's how that shit works, man. You can't even do it. You can't even have that one little bit.
Moved to 3 or 4, and then I realized that I was back where I had been before. Ativan's gone missing from the bottle. Tell my doctor they were stolen, but I know that they were swallowed. Everything.
Wow, this is like a big relapse song. Like, yeah, he's taking Ativan, obviously more than what was prescribed, and he's telling his doctor, hey, someone stole these from me. I still need them. I don't have enough to get me through the month now. You know, and he's lying. He's like, I know I swallowed them. I know where they actually went. Nobody took them. They're in my stomach. They're in my system now. Like, ugh.
Gone missing from the bottle. Tell my doctor they were stolen, but I know that they were swallowed. Everything I ever did was always done with open throttles. All the way or nothing, non-commitment. Everything I ever did was always done with open throttles. All the way or nothing, non-commitment is a broken promise.
Everything he's ever done was with open throttle. See, that he's made that reference through a bunch of different songs now. Is that he puts the pedal to the floor and he goes, no matter what. This house is what I was thinking of earlier, wasn't it? He'd rather crash the car than touch the brakes. That's the one I was thinking. Not, what did I say it was from? Something else. Yeah, he makes this reference a lot. You know, once he makes a decision, he's going to go full speed, regardless of the consequences. He chose this lane. Let's go as fast as we can.
What did was always done with open throttles. All the way or nothing. Non-commitment is a broken promise. And I know that that's a problem in itself. But you're living or you're dying or you're crying out for help.
Non-commitment is a broken promise. You're living or you're dying or you're crying out for help. So by you being non-committal, you're breaking promises to yourself. You're not doing what you should do, okay? And then he comes into the living and dying part.
It was always done with open throttles, all the way or nothing. Non-commitment is a broken promise, and I know that that's a problem in itself. But you're living or you're dying or you're crying out for help.
You're living or you're dying or you're crying out for help. You know, if everything's good, you're living. Either that, if you're sick and dying, or you're gonna be crying out for help. Help make me live, or whatever. You know, like ugh.
And I know that that's a problem in itself, but you're living or you're dying or you're crying out for help. Yeah, it's been a week since I felt like me. I've been starving, but I just can't eat. I'm exhausted, but I can't find sleep. It's been harder than it's ever been. The darkness hasn't ever dimmed, the light's so bleak.
Oh.
I never...
Jesus, Tom. Everything's a bar in this, and this is deep, man. And this beat is like This House or I'm Sorry. Like, I want to get, like, super hyped for it. But the content that he's talking about is tragic. It's just tragic. Let me hear this part again. Hold on.
Like me, I've been starving, but I just can't eat. I'm exhausted, but I can't find sleep. It's been harder than it's ever been. The darkness hasn't ever dimmed, the light's so bleak.
He's starving, but he can't, he hasn't eaten. He's tired, but he can't sleep. The darkness has never dimmed, the light's so bleak. All right, so he is being enveloped in his demons and his struggles and his addictions right now. And he said at the beginning of the song, it's growing as he becomes more famous and bigger. The darkness is still with him, and it's feeding off of that. So he's saying he's at the lowest point he's been at this point right here, supposedly. Based on what he's saying here, the darkness has never dimmed, the light so bleak. So he's the furthest away from the light he has ever been. Oof. He just relapsed after 8 months of sobriety. Like, damn, man, Tom.
Can't find sleep. It's been harder than it's ever been. The darkness hasn't ever dimmed, the light so bleak. I never understood what they meant when they said that they were just the shadows of men that they had been before they were beat. Now I know that everything I heard was for real when I'm looking in the mirror at a shell of myself.
Okay, hold on.
When they said that they were just the shadows of men that they had been bleak. I never understood what they meant when they said that they were just the shadows of men that they had been before they were beat.
You never understood what they said when they were saying they were shadows of men of who they were before they were beat. So he's saying he doesn't understand how a man could get beaten down into, you know, a shadow of his former self. But once they've been beaten, it's just a fast descent into that. You know, you're
Understood what they meant when they said that they were just the shadows of men that they had been before they were beat. Now I know that everything I heard was for real when I'm looking in the mirror at a shell of myself.
Ugh. This song is tragic. And I want to, like, get pumped for it because, like, the bass line, the beat, everything. He's just saying, you know, he never understood how people could be a shadow of themselves until he's looking in the mirror at a shell of himself. He's been beaten down beyond that point. And he is just a broken shell of a man at this point. Like, jeez, Tom.
Everything I heard was for real when I'm looking in the mirror at a shell of myself. I think that stress is a contributing factor to being 28 and feeling older than dad does. The wrinkles on my face spreading faster and faster. If the good die young, I hope I'm one of the bad ones.
Oh, Tom. Goosebumps? Yeah. Yep. Tom.
Contributing factor to being 28 and feeling older than dad.
Stress is a contributing factor, being 28 and feeling older than dad does. And stress can wreck you, can absolutely wreck you at a young age if you don't have an outlet for it, you know. And then what did he say? Hold on.
I think that stress is a contributing factor to being 28 and feeling older than dad does. The wrinkles on my face spreading faster and faster. If the good die young, I hope I'm one of the bad ones.
If the good die young, I hope I'm one of the bad ones. You know, so it's like, even though he's going through all this, he has no desire. You know, if the good die young, he hopes he's one of the bad ones. If I have to be bad and not, you know, become a good one, or, you know, famous or whatever, however you define good, you know, then he'll just stay in his lane just so he doesn't die young. Man,
On my face, spreading faster and faster. If the good die young, I hope I'm one of the bad ones. The day's long, stay strong and try again tomorrow, though.
Days long, stay strong, try again tomorrow. That's what you know, and Nova has said that, you know, pick herself up off the floor, and she hasn't lost yet, you know, or whatever. There's always another day. Just pick yourself up and keep going.
Even if you're running out of reasons to ignore the phone, even if you're running out of gas, go and borrow more. Your demons knock the hardest when you finally chose to close the door. This is not the way my parents...
He's saying, you know, if your friends are reaching out, pick up the phone. If you need gas to get to a job, to get to wherever, to keep going in your life, borrow the gas. Anything. To do anything you can to avoid shutting yourself in, closing the door emotionally, because that's when the demons are going to knock the loudest. And it is, you know, if you're just wallowing in your own depression alone, you know, and you won't let anyone in. Yeah. Oh man, Tom.
Demons knock the hardest when you finally chose to close the door. This is not the way my parents raised me. I hope they realize that they didn't fail one of their babies. This is the result of a declining social climate that's original design was keeping people trapped inside it. Liquor and violence.
Wow, that's heavy. Say, I hope my parents don't think they failed one of their babies. Man, that's heavy.
Raised me. I hope they realize that they didn't fail one of their babies. This is the result of a declining social climate that's original design was keeping people trapped inside it.
You know, I say, hey, they did everything right. They're not bad parents. They're not bad people. It's not their fault. They did everything they could to raise me right, and it's not their fault. The fault is this society that's declining around us, that these systems are put in place to keep people trapped inside it. And I mean, they are to a certain extent. It's 100% the truth. That's heavy, man. That's heavy. You know, and like, as a parent, that shit bothers me, though. It just bothers me. I feel like if I do it right, they should end up right. You know, it's but yeah. To know that you could go through all the steps, you could do everything right, you could be loving, caring, there for them, do things with them, and they can still go down this path, man. It's a tough pill to swallow, and I don't like it. I don't like hearing it. I'll tell you that.
Of a declining social climate that's original design was keeping people trapped inside it. Liquor and violence, we suffer in silence until we embrace one another and find our collective defiance will topple the giants. I just try to smile through the crying.
There's his message of unity again. There's his message, like, when are we going to come together? Hold on, how does he say this?
Design was keeping people trapped inside it. Liquor and violence, we suffer in silence until we embrace one another.
Liquor and violence, we suffer in silence until we embrace one another.
And find our collective defiance will topple the giants.
Our collective defiance will topple the giants. All right, like I've said, we saw it briefly with GameStop. You know, it's the easiest example of this that I can pull off the top of my head. As soon as everybody decided, hey, let's screw these hedge funds, we all came together, and they lost billions. Now, you know, they might have recouped some of that. I kind of stopped following it. I don't know how the shorts ended up working itself out or whatever. But for a moment, we brought the financial sector to its knees, scared them to their core, you know. This is what we need to do. As a country, we need to come together because we could take back. But like I said in other videos, the divide is so wide, I don't know how that's accomplished.
Suffer in silence until we embrace one another and find our collective defiance will topple the giants. I just try to smile through the crying because I know that someone somewhere is feeling way worse than I am, and that's true. That's true.
Just tries to smile because he knows someone out there is feeling way worse than he is. And that's true. And that is true. That is true. You know, and it sucks to kind of have to resort to that thinking, but sometimes you just need to remind yourself that there is way worse. There's always worse. It could always be worse. Like I said, it sucks to have to think that way, when it could just be going good and you wouldn't have to. But sometimes that's a helpful thought right there.
I know that someone somewhere is feeling way worse than I am, and that's true. That's true.
Wow. Beat, cadence, flow, lyrically, that song is fire. That song's fire. That reminds me of I'm Sorry in This House. That's like right up there with them. Hold on. What's going on? Okay. It's right up there with them. I want to like get hyped and jump around to that song. But then you're listening to the words and you're realizing how tragic it actually is. I mean, it's essentially, I see that as like his relapse song. Like, hey, I'm 8 months sober, now I'm not. So, and I feel great, and, you know, wow, that's heavy. That's heavy. All right. That'll do it. Middle-Aged White Guy Reacts is out. Peace.